Hello guys, so I'm back again, and this time, as you probably noticed, we're using the T54. I have a lot to talk about this tank, mainly about how horribly broken it really is. This tank is probably up there with the likes of the T57 Heavy and the Waffle Tractor Alpha E100, which are both incredibly OP machines. And to be honest with you, if anyone says they're not OP, they are talking out of their arse, because this tank is ridiculous. This tank requires little to no skill to actually play. It is in severe need of a nerf. It outclasses pretty much every other tier 9 medium in every single way. And oh, you're probably saying, oh Martin, it only has 201 millimeters of average penetration with AP rounds. Oh, no worries. If you are in indeed need of struggling to penetrate enemies, we have a cure. It's called heat. These rounds get an average of 330mm penetration. It's just ridiculous. Although the counter to this is the fact that it is a costly machine to run. And I do actually try not to fire an awful lot of heat in this tank, but it's sort of become a sort of a pimp tank with me, where I will literally just splice the cash out just to have fun, to be honest. And you know, I'm not one to complain about people, driving T54s on Fahrenheit. I know I've been in that circumstance where you're going up against like an E100, a mouse, and simply put, you can't reliably pen them with your AP, so you just fire heat at their mantlet, or their cheeks, the turret cheeks, and it goes in every time. And the T54 is. It does look pretty damn good with 9.0 HT model. It looks fantastic. But, the T54, it's just got everything. It's got mobility, it's got the armor, it's got the gun. It's got absolute everything, and it has fantastic DPM as well. This tank is just crazy how effective this really is in battle. It requires little to no skill. That's just my personal opinion. A lot of people will disagree with that, but I feel like this tank is just, it requires nothing. Absolutely nothing to play in. I can do well pretty much every game. I would have to severely mess up to do bad in this tank. I can put in 5k damage pretty much every game. It's no problem. And I think I get, I believe, around 6k damage in this game. And I think I fire off around about 10 heat rounds, and I make a loss of around 30k credits. And I'm running a premium account as well, so you obviously have to take that into account. This tank is, as I was saying, it's broken. It truly is absolutely broken. And you can see the sort of team setup here. This is a 59%er. But as you can see, you will start to serve here. There is a bit of a lemon training start. Lemming train starting to spawn. Pretty much everyone goes to the east. No, not the east. What am I on about? West. And the T57 ISC it, and I believe the T34 pop in to the town where they really should be. That's where I would take all those tanks if I was driving them. But what the position I'm taking up is the middle of the map, and I believe this is a really important position for medium tanks. A number of reasons why I feel this is important is because, well, it allows you to essentially spot enemies coming across here, and once you get the middle of this map, you essentially control the battlefield, because you can dictate the pace of the battle. Because what you'll see in this gameplay is our guys in town get rushed pretty quick, and you expect that to happen, and that's what happens when lemming trains form. And I don't even think this lemon train goes anywhere. I don't think these guys don't even push up, that aggressive. I think at sort of mid to end game, this game becomes very stagnant. Apart from, I believe, a Lorraine, not the Lorraine, sorry, we don't have a Lorraine, the enemy team is a Lorraine. I believe it is a T34. I believe it's this guy actually, who pushes up in the end, and I support him from the middle. And you'll see me actually, what happens is the enemy team just get to a standstill, At this point, after they push through town, I start putting rounds into them into the side, and this is why I like middle so much. Because there's so much hard cover, 90% of these buildings are all hard cover. I don't have RD, there's no RD, so I don't have to worry about that. But not only is these hard cover, but there's a lot of bushes here that you can use for cover. And what I typically do is, if I see a lemon train, especially if I see a lemon train not going to town, I will sit in the middle the entire game. And the reason for this is because typically the guys that don't go town, only a few tanks will, they'll get rushed pretty quick, and especially the enemy team has a lot of medium tanks, you'll see here. So what I'm expecting to happen here is either some of the enemy mediums are going to go here, or the rest of them are going to rush through town, and that's exactly what happens. Some of the medium tanks go in the middle, some rush through town. Now what I do here is, the reason why I go middle is not only so I can spot these guys, and also maybe get some shots into these guys going into town, which is pretty common. The T54's free range isn't bad, but you kind of need a scout. I was kind of hoping 1390 would have went, you know, sort of to middle. That's where you kind of want to take light and mediums on this map. But he never. He goes west, which is, you know, whatever, man. You know, there's no point sitting complaining. You see that in chat all the time. People sitting complaining and moaning. You know, it doesn't matter. You do what you feel is right. But I do believe it's very important to adapt to your team, and that's something you have to learn. It's a vital skill in World of Tanks to adapt to your team. If you're not adapting to your team and you're going off and doing your own thing, you know, really you're pretty much going to lose. Because I understand, like, if I see a lemon train, boy does it annoy me, and I will occasionally click, you know, the minimap a few times. But if you see a lemon train, don't use it. Don't work against it. Don't go to the other side. Work with it. So you allow if your team lemming trains aggressively down one side, then you push that side. And basically what will happen is you'll typically wipe out the enemy tanks that are going to that side, and then you'll push around into their base. Though encounters and stuff like that, you have to be wary of lemming trains. Lemming trains are a pretty common occurrence in World of Tanks, and you just have to watch them. And that's something you kind of learn with the amount of battles you played. You will start to learn how to adapt to your team. It's not something that you can be really taught. It's something that you just learn naturally, and you're just going to have to progress with it. But it's not difficult to do after, say, a few thousand battles, to actually get the grasp of working with your team and not against them. And I understand, you know, lemon trains are annoying. Yes, they are, but don't let it piss you off. There's no point losing your cool in battle. Just stick to it, and you'll get through it. So I was talking about earlier, we're going to this middle position, and as I said, this is a vital position. Usually I'm just trying to use these bushes to try and get some spots off, but I'm not really going to be effective because I'm effectively double booster. See if 1390 gets spotted in T54. And this battle is a really it's not as much slow paced, it more starts off slow and becomes passive and stagnant. And I hate stagnant matches, it's boring. I just can't be arsed with it. So the enemy 254 just, I have no idea what he's thinking. He's not the worst player in the world, but he just suicides himself for some reason. He did a little bit of damage to our water tractor LV100, but you know, what did he gain from that? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I really like the T54, but I don't feel dirty by playing it. I feel dirty when I load the heat. You know, it's one of those tanks where it's kind of like a pimp tank for me. I only play it to have fun, and I don't. Whenever I was grinding this tank, I wasn't playing it to grind it. I was playing it for fun. That's what the T54 really is. So you take a little pop shot at 69, nothing really effective though. See, I'm making use of the bushes. Again, you can make use of the bushes. I have no doubt I probably got spotted there. I don't have 6 cents in this tank. I moved my T54 crew into my Object 140 whenever I bought it. The Object 140 is a fantastic tier 10 medium. Fantastic tank. As you can see, I was telling you that I expected the mediums to go there, and that's exactly what happens. 4 of the enemy mediums go there, and that's where I would take my tank. This is kind of, without Sixth Sense, this is not really a spot, you know, that I can effectively use. And you can see there I just don't have enough gun depression, and the tank is too low to the ground to actually get shots on that object. So I try and get on a shot in the 5120. The gun depression is -5. You can see here, as I was discussing earlier, we saw the lemon trend down one side, and now you can see here that they have exactly done what I suspected was going to happen at the beginning of this battle, and that was they rushed through time. So I put a nice shot into the waffle tractor LV100 here. To shoot into his sides, because that's something I exposed. I would typically shoot the waffle tractor LV100 in the turret because there's no armor there, and it's a big, absolute massive. I'm just going to take a little sort of random shot. And this stage, oh god, what have I done? At this stage, I'm thinking, right, those guys are YOLOing through time. They're going to rush through here, so I'm trying to get behind some hard cover that I can use. See, these got bushes here, and I'm going to use this spot for pretty much the rest of this game. I'm just getting back simply because there's no point dying. It'd be a lost cause. And we can see here these guys are starting to cross into the open field. I missed that Lorraine. I really shouldn't have missed him, to be honest with you. I should have took that shot. So we get shot in the bum there by the T54. And we're just trying to get our armor and see he bounces off our side there. We just stick one right through his turret. The T44, wow. The T44 is actually a nice tank. I like that tank whenever we played it. We're just starting to engage the 69. And see at this stage we're still not firing any heat. There's no reason to. These tanks are fairly lightly armoured. And I shouldn't have fired that shot. I really should. That was a wasted shot. I could have put that shot into that 5100. See the 5100 bounces up off our, I believe he bounced off our upper plate actually. And we stick one shell into him. Obviously, there's no, again, no reason for heat. T54 has enough penetration to penetrate an object one. Object. AMX 5100, sorry. The tier 8 French heavy. It's really the IS4 is pushed up here, and he's a burden for me because he can pretty much spot me and proxy spot me. So I can't really effectively use that position. And you see I'm loading heat right now to basically try and get shots on the IS4. It's a very strong tank, that IS4. I would pretty much need gold to reliably pen him, even on the lower plate, which is exactly where you want to shoot an IS4. They're just trying to get a shot. That shot was never going to pen. See, whenever you, like, do not waste your heat rounds like that. I should never have took the shot. I knew, like, before I even fired that it was never going to pen. I just fired it for the sake of it. You know, I basically tried to aim for the top of his turret, but it was never going to reliably pen. And it was a silly shot to take. You don't take shots like that. So I'm trying to get shots on the T54. Unable to do so. Just spotting the IS4 basically for these guys, and there is the Jaeger. He is looking right at me. Again, that shot. Well, yeah, actually, if I had actually hit his side of his superstructure, that would have panned. You can pretty much pan the Jaegeru in the superstructure with the heat rounds. But look, the shell actually hit his mantlet, and that was never going to penetrate. And at this stage, I'm standing back. I know the Jaegeru is looking at me, and I'm clearly spotted because the 5100 just took another shot at me and bounced. So I'm just playing really passive at this stage, and just trying to really keep that IS4 spotted. I'm sitting wondering this entire time, you know, how have these guys not shot this IS4? You know, it looks like he's in a pretty hold on spot though. It looks like it's actually a really nice position for that IS4. I wasn't actually thinking about that at this time. At this time I was thinking, you know, why are these guys not shooting him? Why are these guys not doing damage? And they've done a little bit of damage to him. You know, roughly around about 900 there, but Nothing too serious. And so he starts taking more damage because the Asbor's starting to get a little bit cheeky and poking. So at this stage in the game, I'm pretty much looking at the south and concluding that that situation is not really good. But I take out this T54 and he bounces off me. There's something that you know, if you angle this armor effectively in the T54, you can bounce, no problem. The T54's upper plate is incredibly good, and the turret is also great. You see at this stage, I am trying to help out the Centurion and the T54 that I was talking about earlier. This is probably about the third or fourth take, by the way, because of the new mic. I'm trying to get the right distance away from it, so it's not too loud and not too quiet. So hopefully this goes through fine. I don't really want to do another take, to be honest with you. Just trying to get the highest quality I can, you know. I think, you know, the viewers are much more deserving of higher quality, you know. Not that I have many viewers, but what can you do? So I'm just trying to come over 50 to hit. Take a little blind shot at the 50B. So I got the side of a Jaegeru. We actually, he basically turns it into our shell and it hits his double plate. A little bit unfortunate, but he was well angled. So we just shoot the top of the side on there. That's definitely where you want to shoot a Jaegeru. You don't want to shoot a Jaegeru in the side of the tracks, really. The tracks will absorb quite a lot of shots, and especially heat shells. You don't want to be shooting heat shells into the side of tracks. It's, you know, as most of you probably know, the tracks, there's kind of spaced armor on a tank, and heat does not do particularly well against spaced armor, and you want to avoid it at all costs. But you know, there's sometimes you have to, and you know, you stand a pretty good chance of penetrating, but it's not reliable. And you can see at this stage, pretty much the south is crumbled. This entire push that pushed up here has crumbled because of the Waffle Tractor LV100, obviously demonstrating how balanced the tank is. And you got likes of the Rain and the Rain. I can't remember what tank is over here, to be honest with you. So the way I look at this position is the Jaegeru just got took out. It's not a good situation. We've racked up 3k damage, but at this stage I'm in a T54. I should have done a lot more. So I'm just checking there to see where the, I believe it might have been the 50B who penetrated my upper plate there. Just taking some blind shots there. Not really effective blind shots. This is where I try and come down, help this T34. But I don't know if it was a mixture of my body aim and RNG, but I just get severely unlucky here. I should have took that shot. Right, see this shot here? This could have saved this T34's life. What I should have done was shoot his tracks and take his tracks off. Because I had AP loaded, 201 average, could have easily panned the side of him. You have to remember, the Waffle Tractor Alpha E100 doesn't have the spaced armor side skirts that the traditional E100 gets. So you can stand a pretty good chance of penetrating there, especially if he doesn't have his turret exposed. You can see we actually do take the shot, but it actually hits off the rock by the looks of things. So you just want to be careful. And I'm telling this T34 to fall back. I need to keep him alive. He's spotting him for me, and this is the shot that I can see he disappears. I took a blind shot, and at this stage I'm really starting to, I'm thinking I need to help this guy, and this is poorly aimed. I aimed at the top of his turret, sort of towards the front of his barrel. I should never have done that. I should have pulled it a little bit more to the right and then took the shot. But I don't know what I was thinking at the time. I was just getting sort of, I wouldn't say frustrated, because it's not RNG. You know, it's not RNG in play there. It's just my pure shot. I was getting frustrated at myself more than anything. Again, that's a shot that maybe a bit unlucky with, because I aim basically for the Lorraine's front of his turret, and he actually backs back down into it, and he disappears obviously off my screen. He's got despotted, and you know, as you saw there, it never actually killed him. So I'm really really annoyed at myself at this stage because these are shots that could save this T54, and I need this guy for spotting. And then the rain comes back again. And he actually exposes himself quite a lot. Again, pure shooting. And at this stage, I'm getting really frustrated at myself because these are shots that I need to hit, and I just say, you know, screw it. I just say to myself, screw it. I'm not going to sit there and just get ineffective shots. And this is where I come across to obviously help these guys out. But they seem to be doing a decent enough job themselves. Put a shot on the 5100 there. Get away with standard AP 5100. I'll be taking the 5100 out. So we got the Jaeger here. We just put a standard AP round into the side. And obviously I was explaining to you earlier, the E100 gets those Space Armor side skirts, but so does the Jaeger. The Jagdpanzer E100 also gets those side skirts. And I kind of avoid trying to shoot at them at any time because, especially with those AP rounds, if I had a heat round, I also wouldn't have took that shot because as I was saying earlier, heat doesn't do particularly well against spaced armor. But I got pretty lucky to find the Jaeger there. I've lost count of the amount of times I've bounced off the side of a Jaeger with T54's AP rounds. As a life lesson, I sort of low heat as a default now. See the 113 starts to push out. The little mini-map's glitched out at this stage. You can see that some things are not disappearing off the map that have been killed, but what can you do? I think this was the first 9.0 test of XVM, and it's a little bit buggy. And I'm just telling these guys pretty much, because not everyone obviously has XVM and the mods that the customization that comes with it. You know, you can have this view range, and obviously you get to see the lost spotted tanks on the minimap, which I believe is sort of should be in the vanilla game. I don't really think you should have to install a mod to get this. I think it's silly, but you know, what can you do? C69's been spotted, and as I was saying, I was just telling those guys that he's up there. Pressing power on him now. I've got nothing to fear at this stage. The only thing I have to fear is that, realistically, is this 50B. He's a good player, and the thing that I have to fear really is, is him basically coming up to deal with me, because I have no doubt that I was probably spotted at that stage. And that's why I keep my frontal armor pointed towards the 50B last spotted direction. In case he does have a pop shot, he'll pretty much reliably pen me anyway. He has, I believe it's 258 on the 50B's 120mm. But so we just took out the T69 there, and our team starts to move up. Just getting rid of that passive play, and there's the 50B. Bit of shell, low roll of course, you know, because knife and death situations, you know, low roll and all that jazz. And we put a shot into his, pretty much his turret, which is where you want to aim at the 50B, because his hull armor is actually incredibly good. It's 175 mils, slow, and we take a shell, I believe, from the Waffle Tractor 300. At this stage, I'm just waiting on my team. There is no point sticking out and getting myself killed. I'm a vital asset to this team. This Waffle Tractor can still do this. The Waffle Tractor is that kind of tank where you can literally be the last tank alive left and take out 5 people no problem. It's not difficult. A Waffle Tractor LV100 is you know, it's really OP, more so in this tank. So I'm just sort of waiting on my team at this stage. There's no point poking out. I don't have 6th sense, so I cannot effectively gauge if I'm spotted without obviously taking rounds. I say I'm just sort of angling my armor out here. I'm just sort of trying to get spots off. Sitting on 4.6k. It's no biggie in the T54. It's not impressive. I've got so much more in this thing. So just take a blind shot at this stage. So we've only went through 7 heat rounds, which is quite decent actually. I mean, I know people. I don't know people, but I've seen people, plenty of people actually just flow pure heat loadout for this tank. And you see I'm just reminding the team that we only have basically 3 minutes left, so I'm telling them, time guys, look at the time. We need to start push up. You see I go into these bushes here, basically trying to get spots off on the Waffle Tractor Alpha 100. But I pretty much just I expect that he wouldn't be there where he basically killed the T34. I suspected that he'd probably be back here using these bushes because the 113 is already pushed up. So I'm kind of expecting to aim towards this direction, though it would not surprise me if he was actually back here. Zay gets spotted. We start to aim, and we bounce, of course, because, you know, that Waffle Tractor Alpha 100 got amazing turret armor, of course, and the Waffle Tractor drowns himself. So, yeah, I don't know why he did that. He's not a bad player, but I just basically tell the guys to report him, because there's no point denying the enemy team a kill. You know, if you're gonna die, and I can't honestly, I'm calling him a pussy there. And, you know, the MX5120 is going for what? Because he thinks I'm talking to him for some reason. I don't know why. Like, you know, I don't know why he thought this, but I never even said anything back to him. He started calling me names, I think, but whatever. And obviously the enemy IS-4 was agreeing with me about him being a pussy, because there's no need to drown himself. Completely unnecessary, to be honest. And then I'm like, for what? You for real? The wonders of World of Tanks chat, I tell you. The amount of freaking disgusting things I've seen people put in that chat. Racist, you know, unnecessary comments. And then the 5120 is commenting question mark at this stage, and I'm like... And then as far as like my team, what the fuck? I say at this stage, I'm pretty annoyed about that Waffle Tractor denying the kill to be or the 113, so I just removed the rest of his health. And then the MX50Bs report your dog, and then the IS-4 is Waffle Tractor Alpha 100. No idea why the 5120, but I was talking to him, and I'm just agreeing with the IS-4, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Just smiley face. So I think the 50B and the Eagery were in the same. Yeah, they were. So of course he's going to jump to the defensive. And the Lorraine's nowhere to be seen. God knows where the Lorraine is. No idea. I just couldn't be arsed at this stage. It was a long game as is. So I just wanted to get over it, so just get 3 cap points while the hell not. And he's at A9 apparently. He must have slipped through the time. So it's a T54. It's an interesting tank. And when I say interesting, I mean OP because it's a joke. And I believe it should strongly be nerfed, but you know, it's Russian and all that, so yeah, I don't expect to see it nerfed. Its armor profile slightly changed in 9.0, the cupolas got slightly weaker, but nothing overall that's going to affect the machine. It still bounces a lot, and my main problem with the tank is not the fact that it's got good mobility and decent enough armor. My problem with the tank really is the heat rounds. I think 330mm of average penetration is just simply put too high. Maybe around about 280, 290, I can see it, but any more than that, it just sort of gets on the absurd. The T69 was another one of those tanks, which until recently got nerfed with its heat rounds. It used to really have high penetrating heat rounds. It no longer has those, and I kind of understand that with the T69 because it's kind of one of those tanks that has terrible penetration for its steer, and it struggles in that aspect. But that is the T54, guys. Thanks for watching, and I hope you'll subscribe and leave comments and stuff like that. You know, I like to interact with you guys. Thank you.